Okay guys, I want to go over some of the Ktip format with you. 2 or 3 of you have asked me to post a video and I've been beating around the bush. I said I'd get to it, I never did, so it's about 2 weeks old, but here it is and I hope it helps. Main thing you want to do, I'm going to give you some tips, okay? The tips to make these go faster for you, to help you build confidence instead of being blown away when you find out you have to do like 5 of them at one time or 10 or 15, okay? Start with, if you make one of these, always know where it's at on your desktop, okay? Because if you keep making one for the same class over and over and over, copy and paste this, okay? Just copy and paste it, slap it on there, change maybe the unit title and lesson title, and you'll be set. And even the text boxes will paste with it. Now you want to know what these text boxes are. We'll get to those in just a minute, guys. What we're going to cover today is the title box, the text boxes. We'll cover that in steps 2 and 3. As you see, we're going to cover the objective, tying it to the strand, and we're also going to cover the standard itself, okay? And then we're going to go over the bottom half too, but that's just for the first portion of this lesson. First part, you just want to copy and paste that, type it in. As of right now, though, I know this is probably a lot of you guys. I know it's a lot of your first one, so fill it out. Unit title, lesson title. Name it whatever you want to name it. Chances are there's not very much emphasis placed on these at all, as the only place that comes from is from you, okay? So, this part, male and female, I took a text box from the Insert tab on Microsoft Word. Any version of Word from 2003 and up has the Insert tab with a text box feature. Put 2 text boxes in here, and I want you to say how many male and how many females you have in your class, guys. Your instructors, they like that a lot more. Just lets them know what's going on, what you're dealing with, just a little bit more. And teacher initials, it just makes it real and relevant, okay? They like to see evidence. And this just means that you're for real. That means you ain't got nothing to hide. So put that on there. It don't take just a second. Now, anything you add in like that, especially with text boxes, pictures, graphs, photos, results, they love it. They eat that up. Okay, going down to number 4. Identify essential questions and or unit objectives addressed by this lesson. The easiest thing for you to do, is to go to a grade school, go to Letcher Elementary, go to any grade school that you want to go to, ask them to see a PACE guide. And you can even find it online at www.letcher.kyschools.us or whatever the website is for Letcher County Public Schools. Click on Documents, or I'm sorry, I lied. Click on Departments, click on Instruction Documents. Okay, documents, instruction, departments, documents, instructional documents, 2012, 2013 curriculum documents, in that order, and then just click on the grade level that you want, then click on the subject that you want, and there you have your whole list of strands, and I'll tell you what a strand is in a minute, but you have everything that you'll need to know, and I'm sure you've seen these laying around classrooms and didn't even know what they were, but now you do. First, you have to figure out what you're going to teach. So what do you want to teach these kids? Well, guys, if you find that PACE guide, pick out an objective. I mean, there's so many. And here we're going to do, I can identify the beginning sound of words. And that was right in the PACE guide. Now, once I find that in the PACE guide, I just go over to the left. And see, that's a target or an objective. I go to the left and I find my strand. Okay? This is your standard. It's going to be attached to a strand. And from there, you will find your standard. Okay, and you can find that. You can go to Google, type in core content, and then type in whatever grade level you want. Just search it up there at the top, type in core content, and then take you to the Kentucky Standards Board, and you just go from there. Just mess around on that site for a while. Notice that instead of just being all in one grade level, though, like your PACE guide, it's going to be all grade levels K-12. So you just find your grade, and then you just hover around in that section for a while. It's not bad. It looks bad, but once you think about it, it's not. And this is, if you notice, the 1 at the end of that, that just tells me that it's for first grade, okay? And this is just a little abbreviation for what that standard means. I'm not exactly sure even what that means. I'm going to say reading and knowledge, or it could be anything, really. I mean, you just have to get familiar with them. And all I really look for, though, is what it says, and I slap it on. But that's your hardest part that you'll ever do about A2, is that part. And that's basically it. Essential questions, guys. This is something big. You hear it called a hot question today in the classroom. take this target that you just picked. I can identify the beginning sounds of words. And just take it to another level, okay? I know probably 90% of a kindergarten class could tell you that C is the beginning sound in cat, okay? But how do you take it to the next step? What are the sounds of all letters in the alphabet? You can talk about that. And how can I use the sounds of letters to capture to spell words? 2- and 3-letter phoneme words. So that's how we can take it to another level. That's what you'll be doing there. Scrolling down. The summative assessment. It's just asking you what it is. You just want to say that, you know, in the summative assessment, which is going to be a summative of your unit, the whole unit, which I have more than just the objective that we're teaching today, just say the summative assessment of this lesson will require students to determine the beginning sounds of almost all letters of the alphabet, okay? It's pretty simple. It's just talking about one target. It ain't talking about the whole summative assessment. You can even say it's multiple choice, open-ended questions, open response, you know, short answer, true and false, whatever you want to say on there. But I just kept it simple, and sometimes they like to see that. But now down on E, they like to see bulk. Okay, you got to bulk that up. This is describe the characteristics of your students identified in Task A1 who require differentiated instruction to meet their diverse needs impacting instructional planning in this lesson of the unit. What I do is I check out my classroom, and I simply ask the teacher, I say, how many students in here have an IEP? Okay, good. But at the kindergarten grade level, I didn't have that opportunity because IEPs really, they don't get placed with an IEP until first grade, unless you just got a really awesome preschool who's on top of that stuff and let you know what you're going to have before they even get there. But I typed in Burdance and how they screen the kindergarten students before they get there to let you know a little bit about what's going on. But guys, you can talk about how many IEPs you got, how this IEP will affect the lesson. If you have a student with IEP in speech, how are you going to accommodate that to know that he's saying the correct beginning sound? So that's something that you have to take into consideration. And guys, you just talk about that and go on and on and on. You talk about how the data through Dibbles, data through ThinkBlank helps you prepare this lesson. And I'll email you guys a copy of this so you'll know, you can. I'm not going to read it all to you because it's kind of boring. It's just kind of, you just got to make it sound good. But I'll email you a copy. Pre-assessment. Describe your analysis of pre-assessment data used in developing lesson objectives. Okay, so let's say that you gave them a test the day before, and you wanted them to know beginning sounds, and you seen on that test that they absolutely done terrible on it. You just an oral test or whatever. Well, I put students been assessed on beginning sounds, and only 80%. It says the class is not 80%, which means I need to hit that target really, really hard, okay, with figures. So this is the boxes. It starts with your target. I can identify beginning sounds. Assessment, this is your pre-assessment, okay? Not this pre-assessment. This is your assessment. You can even call it a formative assessment. Actually, I would rather you call this a formative assessment. Don't call it a pre because you talk about your pre up there. So, target, assessment, formative assessment. Assessment accommodations, guys, just type anything in there, okay? Don't give all 10 accommodations if you have to make them. If you got to make 2 or 3 important ones, like a student C has to sit in the front of the room for eyesight, or whatever, just type it in. And then strategy activity. This is circle time. Simple. Students gather at a circle to watch a short video. It just tells what you're doing. And you can play the thumbs up, thumbs down game. You can play 4 corners. We just get lists and lists and lists all the time of these formative assessments they can use, and they're very effective, especially for teachers keeping anecdotal notes. So check it out. I'll email that to you too, and see which formative assessments you would like to try out. They're fun, they're easy, they're very, very quick if you want them to be. And you can get a lot of info. So you pick your activity, and again, just accommodations for that activity. The guys, I know I'm going over this fast, but hopefully, and guys, this is part of what we just done up there. It's just wanting to know your technology, media, and resources like pencil, paper, yes, no cards, computers, youtube.com, and this video, inner iPad, circle carpet. I even get that detailed about it, just because sometimes they like to see bulk. Objective target, same objective, same target, but this time we're doing a formative or a summative, whatever you want to call it, and this just to see if they got what you taught them that day. There's your accommodation. Strategy, activity, markers, and boards. Students will return to the seats. Guys, this is just like an observation, okay? They're really not turning anything in. They're just all doing it at the same time. You're walking around the room using close proximity, and you're going to see what you can do with it and see who got it, who didn't, and you can be right there on top of them to see if you need to reteach it. So markers and boards, I gave a little brief description of how that works. And you might even want to put where they get the markers and boards from, okay? They like to see routines. They like to see procedures that students do every day that's just exactly the same. And down here, that's procedures, but this is procedures for this whole A2. So teachers will ask students together at the friendship circle. Guys, that's what I talked about up here in my prayer formative assessment, the very first step that we took in this, all the way to the last part. Students, the teacher will pass out their erase boards, markers, and rags to all students, and then it goes down a little bit more, and at the end it says centers will rotate until all students have completed each center. Guys, it just talks about everything that you do step by step. I mean, if you're going to bend over and tie your shoe, put it in there, because they like to see bulk in that. I try to at least have 15. This one had 14. I come up short, but I like to have between 15 and 20, and it's really easy to do. Just don't stretch out your sentences. That's the A2. That's brief. Hopefully this just leads you to have a lot of questions that have turned out to be productive for you that you can ask me or somebody else. I hope I cleared up a couple of misconceptions. Like I said, they're not that bad. I used to stay up and cry about these until I actually sat down and done like 5 or 6 of them. Then they got easier. Then I got to where I could do them what I thought okay. They turned out that they were okay in college. So I want to be able to help you with them. But these will never be fun. They'll always be more work. Just way more work than what they're worth, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I hope this helps. Any questions, email me, john.watts@lecture.kyschools.us.